Here we go. Starting the show in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us under the library. This is our homebrew Call of Cthulhu campaign. Our keeper made the world, and we are all making up the stories as we go. If you happen to like what we do here on this show and would like to support us, please head over to underthelibrary.com/support to learn how you can do so. And if you are an RPG player or GM of any system and are looking to improve your role-playing, you should absolutely check out our other show. It is called Up Your RPG and can be found wherever you get your podcasts. With that, let's get to a show. My name's Artur. I'm playing Buddy. And, we knew this day was coming. We've been talking about it for a month, but it is hard to believe that for the second time in our 60-plus episode history, we are going to do a show without Emily tonight. But at the same time, we are super stoked to welcome back Chris. He is going to be playing someone that we will be meeting shortly. Wayne is also back tonight. He was out for a week. He's playing Sister B. Rick is Sam, and Scott is one half of the Eddie and Buddy show. He's the Eddie half. And as always, of course, our keeper is Michael. Michael, the show is all yours.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. I'll put a little plug. There's a few of us. Emily and Nick and I will be at Con on the Cob running some shows and doing some Up Your RPG activities. So if you want to join us, you can join us there. In addition, we are an improv group and we don't know what themes may come up, but usually there's a little bit of violence, some gore, some bodily harm, and psychological horror. So if in your search history, blinking lights on Route 66 at the Moriarty overpass at 3 a.m. or clown fetuses are one of your search history items, you're in the right place. And with that, I'll turn it over to almost Emily.
Yeah.
Virtual Emily.
Hey,
Emily.
Everyone, sorry I can't be here this week. Here is our recap from last time. As we began, Sam was heading to Carly's house.
Can we heckle her?
When they spoke at the door,
Yeah,
Sam was evasive and avoided telling Carly that he saw Joe, but he digs for information about the visitor. Carly just called Sister B an old friend passing through and didn't share any more. She then heads in to see her daughter Stephanie, and Sam puns, "Okay, you go," rushing off, which
That went well.
impels Carly to shut the door in his face and lock it. She does return and apologize, and then Sam gifts her some meat. Sam then leaves to catch up with Joe, and the two of them go to
tiny
Joe's
meat,
old
wasn't
house.
it? Like there was very little.
They see flowers strewn around the front yard, both new and old. It seems that people are still
Perfectly average meat.
leaving gifts and thinking of the family and of the tragedy.
It's
As they're standing there,
it's
a
filling.
Is it the
sweaty,
tragedy
bald
of the
man
meat?
approaches. His collar is soaked, his face is red, his hands are wet. He challenges them, but then recognizes Joe and introduces himself as the family attorney, Maximilian Colby. At first, Joe is afraid. She does not remember him, but eventually she does admit who she is, and he tells her that she is the heir to the estate. He leaves her with a key and a card and asks her to come by his office later, and he will represent her interests. Maximilian leaves, and Joe and Sam enter the house together. Sam sees that all the personal items have been removed. It looks very sterile. He looks around the house, eventually
like
flips on the light for the basement and heads down there to look around as well. He sees a 7x7 foot area where the top layer of dirt was removed, but nothing else of note. While Sam is exploring, Joe is trying her best to enter her bedroom, but she is just overcome and ends up sitting in the hallway, leaning against the wall and trying to get control of herself. Switching gears, back with Buddy and Eddie in Los Alamos. They are in the theater on the stage, looking at intricate designs made of white powder. Eddie pretends to announce Buddy the Magnificent as Buddy looks out over the audience and Buddy blushes. Buddy heads down into the house while Eddie, on stage, feels something in his pant leg up the back of his thigh. It runs across his buttocks, and it's gone. He drops his pants, trying to find out what was on him, but cannot find anything. Once he gets himself dressed and put back together, all he wants to do is leave. Buddy looks around for this supposed rat,
Sounds like
or
Scott.
whatever the creature was, hoping Eddie isn't crazy. But he sees only a shadow. They call for Lana, no response. They check the balcony in the office, find some paperwork suggesting that whatever happened at the theater was sudden. The magician should still be performing. The theater was doing well financially. There's really no explanation. It does seem, however, that Lana is not actually staying here. No
Joey
signs
there.
of her. Heading back to the front of the theater, Buddy notices a latch on a small door under the stage, and as he explores underneath, he finds copper piping among other mechanics for stage effects. There's a copper apparatus that looks like a small motor, attached to copper tubes, a motorized pump, large cylinders, probably for gas storage. Buddy startles Eddie, who, on stage, broke one of the salt lines. Finally, they
You'll be
head back
fine.
up to the dressing rooms and out a window, and it is pitch black. It's nighttime. They
I
entered
forgot this.
in the middle of the day. They decide to return to the bar to ask what time it is, what's going on, and maybe also find Lana there. Also, Buddy is starving. However, Eddie is not. So, they stop first at a diner for food. They find out it's about 10:30 p.m. It is the same day. But where has the time gone? Buddy, ravenous, eats 2 burgers and a milkshake and Eddie's fries, and Eddie only has coffee. Have fun.
I feel like she got some nice jabs in there, even though she's kind of away.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
She does that.
All right. Let's head over to Chris. And Chris, we're going to do a little backstory for your character who we're about to meet. And the settings here is early 1920s, paleontological dig site. And I'll let you pick the state. You can pick the state we're in. Because it would have made sense for you to where you would have been. Or
You're muted.
What's
Oh, there
the
you
state? What's the state that has just dinosaur bones laying on the top of the ground? People go around and pick them up.
Wyoming.
Is it Wyoming?
I was gonna, yeah.
And the South Dakota. Either one of those. South
No,
Dakota.
let's make it Wyoming.
I was going to say South Dakota, yeah.
Oh, South Dakota then.
South
No,
Dakota.
I like Wyoming. Go with your gut. Go with your gut there. So Wyoming, 1920s. We'll call it June. Seems like a nice month to be going for fossils, and you're working under a group that is led by Edward Cope Jr. And Edward Cope Jr. is the immediate descendant or child of Edward Cope, one of the great rival paleontologists, and from the late 1800s, who would have been digging in South Dakota, possibly prior to some of the events that took place in Bloodstone.
Okay.
And so you're in Wyoming, and you're at a dig camp for Edward Cope Jr. There's probably about 10 of you. And so this is a pretty, rough tent city. You're about 20 to 30 miles from any major cities. Y'all are pretty self-sufficient, even going so far as hunting for your own food and things like that, because you like to guard your dig site and not have things be left exposed or, be up for somebody else to discover. On this particular site, y'all have been at it for a couple of weeks. You started because immediately, right on the surface, there were all these little bones. But yesterday, late in the evening, as they were starting to do some kind of light chipping around some of the larger bones, you were about, you weren't deep into the soil, probably 6 to 8 inches. The soil started to fall through, and y'all discovered it's not big, but it's a hole, probably, let's see if I'm measuring, we'll say it's a couple feet in circumference. The dirt just kind of fell through, and y'all held lanterns up and kind of threw some rocks down, and they seemed to go for quite a bit. Edward was up pretty much all night, excitedly talking your ears off, plotting for how y'all might go down it. Y'all were, of course, tired from the day's digging, and anxious to get some sleep, because y'all knew that probably the goal of the morning routine would be for somebody to descend down into that hole. And so after an evening of a quite excited Edward, jabbering along and telling stories and imagining what could be down in that hole, and you trying to get some shut-eye through the night, you awoke quite early the next morning with the sun, to a busy, bustling camp, making preparations.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to find out what's going on down there. Who's?
Does that mean you want to go down in there, John? Do you want to go down in that hole, Ed?
Well, and looking at John, he's like 5'4" maybe,
Okay.
and pretty slender.
Okay.
So it's like almost like having a kid there.
Okay.
And he's battling because I gave you his backstory about claustrophobia.
Yes.
I don't know if you got that. So it's excitement. He's incredibly excited. And it's, counterbalanced by claustrophobia. So what he's going to do is he's going to go and take a huge swig out of his flask to try to steal his nerves. And then, yeah, he's going to volunteer to go down the rope.
Okay. And the guy you're talking to, his name is Mahaney. You're not talking to Edward right now. And so he says to you, as you're swigging, he says, he kind of has a nervous chatter about him. What do you say, John? John, will you do this for me? Ed wants me to go down, but oh man, I did the last one. I don't want to do this one. If you do it, I'll give you a week's worth of whiskey, man, if you'll do this one for me.
Well, I tell you, I haven't gotten a chance to do some serious exploring yet. So
you're gonna do it?
Oh, I'm kind of raring to go, and I got a little bit of whiskey vapor filling my sails.
Oh, God bless you, man.
But I could use some more liquid courage. I kind of, finished, and I tip up my flask, and just one little drop comes down.
Come with me. Come with me. We'll go to my tent. Oh man, I'm so grateful. Thank you. Whew. I just, sometimes you get the, I don't want to do this one this time. I really appreciate you doing it for me.
Yeah, no, like I say, I'm completely excited.
Okay. And so he takes you over to his tent, and he gives you, he's pretty generous. He gives you a whole bottle of whiskey, and says, you take it. I get it. You might need a little courage to get down there. It's a tight looking hole.
I chug a bit more.
Phrasing.
And then fill up my flask.
Okay.
And keep my flask with me.
Okay.
And yep, I'm off I go. I make my way to where the folks, I assume, are gathered around the hole.
Yeah, and so they're, they're doing everything. Like they've Edward's been lowering down ropes since dawn, and you overhear him talking to other people, just about. I don't know. We haven't hit bottom yet. We can't quite figure out how deep this damn thing is. Who's ready? Who's ready to go down?
I'm ready.
All right. And so wonderful, wonderful. I love your energy. I tell you what, let's get you all roped up, and we'll get a light on you, and I want you to take this down with you, and I want you to time your descent. We're gonna try and figure a few things out. And so he gives you a silver stopwatch or pocket watch with the second hand on it for timing. And it's nothing cheap, certainly, but it's nothing, that looks incredibly rare, but not an object that you would have had much. And so he's, kind of notice it as an object, I would say. And they prepare you, they get you all tied up. There's a makeshift kind of harness that they'll tie you into. And and so the first thing that they do is, I mean, you're just essentially sitting on the edge of this hole, and your legs kind of dangling down. As they do, you can feel the cool air kind of move up your pants leg, right? It's Wyoming, it's June, it's been pretty warm out during the day, but as soon as you sit on this hole, you feel the cold air just rise right up. And it is, I mean, it's going to be a squeeze, right, to get down.
So I'm going to close my eyes initially.
Okay.
So that cut off that sense, so that I'm less likely to panic.
Okay.
I'll open my eyes once I'm in the dark.
Okay. And so you have your stopwatch, and you have your lantern, and you have to cross your arms and hold it pretty close, and you're trying to hold the lantern in a way that it doesn't burn. Are you going down with it lit, or are you going to go down in darkness?
Go down with it lit. Yeah.
Okay. And he goes, "All right, off you go, John. We'll see you in a minute." And he gives you a little bit of a shove to kind of get you in place, and they start lowering you down. And as they do, you're just scraped up the sides, right? You're almost it's less them lowering you down than it is you kind of wedging your shoulders back and forth and kind of shimmying down. It's that tight as you move down.
I did not realize it was going to be that tight. For some reason, I thought it was an opening and then like a cavern.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to shake and sweat. I start the stopwatch.
Okay.
And then I just fucking keep my eyes closed.
Okay. Should you make a little sand roll as you
Sure.
as you move down here?
38. I'm good. Barely.
Okay. Yeah. So you're able to hold it together, right? You've got these techniques, and you've got your mission in mind, right? You've got a goal here.
Yeah.
And
having been in the war, I'm good at trying to block out explosions and death and whatnot and stay focused.
The reality is you shimmy through for probably 10 to 20 feet, but it feels like forever. And one thing that keeps you going, though, is this continual kind of rush of cool air coming up the tunnel, because even though like it's making you really anxious and panicky, and the further you get down, there's kind of a sweet smell in the air, not sickly, but a little bit sweet, and that sweet smell really calms you. And then so between the cool air and the sweet smell, you're both curious, kind of intrigued, and you start to slide through it a little bit easier until you break through and you're hanging in midair, quite literally, from the harness. And if you want kind of the third person master shot, right? It's you, a tiny little speck up at the top of a light shaft, holding your lantern, and the lantern spreading around. Um, as you kind of immerse into this cavern, you're enveloped in this cool air and that sweet smell.
Oh, great. Well, yeah, at that point, I can breathe easy, and I'm holding the lantern around, first of all, to see if I can see any bottom within the reach of the lantern light.
Um, you can't quite see the bottom, but you see a glisten that might be the bottom. And you're guessing, with the lantern light, that glistens probably a good 30 to 40 feet away.
Okay.
As you look up, there's
Now, I assume there was some method we determined where I would tell them if I needed to be pulled up, or, a certain number of tugs if I hit the bottom, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, that would make sense. And so yeah, if you want to, in fact, if you want to send any kind of simple message back and forth, it would make sense that y'all would have that code. But you're probably, 15, 20 feet, you could probably yell up the shaft and they would even be able to hear you, right?
Oh, in that case, I yell up, "It's opened up down here. It's not a hole anymore. It's sort of, I can't tell the exact, can I see walls?"
You can't, you can look up and you can start to see the ceiling.
Yeah, but
and
no.
Right.
I don't know how big it is, but it's definitely a large open space down here.
All right. And you hear Edward, can you see anything? Are there any bones? Can you see any bones?
I don't see any bones, but there's something catching the light about 30 feet below me.
All right, we're gonna lower you.
Could be water. I don't know.
And you immediately, like, you just feel them starting to lower you right away without you like sending any kind of more other message. The rope at the top's marked in 10-foot increments, so they're kind of keeping an eye on how fast. So you go down 20 feet very quickly, and then they kind of slow up. As you get about halfway or so, as you move about 20 feet down and it starts to slow, you start to see better this reflective surface, and you realize that this cavern is massive and potentially hundreds of feet long, and you see no walls yet, but you do make out, certainly the rocky undersurface, underground. It looks very slippery, and the seems like kind of all the rocks and stuff are coated with some sort of plant matter.
Okay, and how far am I from the bottom?
Probably another, it looks like it would take another 20 feet to go down. We'll say that you knocked on the rope to stop them so that they didn't, you're just kind of suspended in the air.
Yeah, so I'll check to make sure I have somewhere solid to land on. And if it seems that I do, then I'll give a tug to let them know to keep feeding down the rope.
Yeah, and so they do, and they keep sending you down. And as you get closer to the ground, you see kind of there's like splotches that glisten, and then splotches or areas that look more like you would expect in an underground cavern. Like moist dirt and rocks and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll try ideally to target a rocky area
Okay.
because I don't want to slip in
Yeah.
a a wet area.
Yeah, and they're not massive, so it wouldn't be too hard for you to do. So we'll say that you land in uh, a rocky area fairly easily. We'll make you roll for it because why not? Because that's just more fun. Make a little dexterity roll.
Oh yeah, 17.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it cool if I ask a question?
of course.
Am I allowed to?
I would
Okay.
love. Yeah.
I'm picturing this thing, and there's one thing that I just want to understand: the hole that he just went through. Did that hole appear, or did someone bore that hole?
Oh, so what does it look like?
Well, no, I
Interesting.
mean, was it like, did someone just, oh, hey, there's a hole here, let's check it out,
No,
or were they
we were
digging?
yes, we were digging and dug down far enough that the loose dirt collapsed and created the hole.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
At least that's what they think.
That's what we think. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Thank
Yep.
you.
So, all right. So as you land, you still have this rope tied to the harness, and you hear like really faintly now because they're pretty high above you. You hear them. Are you okay? And it kind of echoes right through there.
I give them the old double tug
Okay.
to let them know I'm okay.
Okay. And as you do, you can almost feel the anticipation of
Wow,
Edward
phrasing.
Cope on the other end of the line, right? Like he just you're half expecting him to land right next to you.
Does he hear, please tug some more?
Don't stop. All right.
Okay.
So you're standing there pretty much on almost what feels like a Martian landscape, right? You haven't seen any walls inside this cavern. Um,
That's
must
what
be
that's what I would like to look for is
yeah.
try to pick a direction and head and try to get to a wall.
Okay. And so you walk. We'll say you start walking based on where you were north. We'll just call it north. And you start walking north, and after about 20 or 30 feet, you see a wall ahead of you about that far. There's
Okay, I check it out to see if it's like a stony cavern. What kind of rock formation it is?
yeah, so it's a massive kind of curvature that slopes gently kind of as far up as you can see, and you're just trying to imagine in your head these sloping from your perspective, they'd be concave walls that go up.
Does it look like it was worn away by water?
Let's see. Hey, what have you got there that's going to work, like a natural history or something like that?
Let me see. I have an archaeology skill.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see what you got.
Okay. Nope, not with a 95.
Wait, what? Oh, 95.
95,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Oh man.
That was a short-lived character.
Yeah.
Wait, is it
It's
95
not
and greater?
96.
Oh, it's 96.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh.
like I think you're so overwhelmed by the moment, and as you're kind of examining the walls, you were looking one way and you stuck your hand into some of that glistening substance, and you get caught up in that because you just stuck
it-
your hand in something gooey, and
Oh,
that
it's
never feels right.
it's gooey.
Yeah, and it's
I'll hold the lantern to it.
okay. And it looks like as you look at it, it looks like best description would be if you stuck your hand in seaweed covered in snail goo. So it
Ooh.
looks like that. And
I'll smell it. Is it the
smell
source of the sweetness?
smells deliciously sweet.
Okay. well,
almost like like that nice confectionery smell that's not overwhelming, but it's just like, oh.
Yeah, you got to try some of that.
you know what? I'm going to take something out of my pack
Okay.
and scrape it off
Oh,
into
okay.
into some sort of container
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then put a screw top on it.
I really thought you were going to be like, you know what? I'd lick it.
I
You
kind of
can't
thought you were
kill me
going
in
there
the
too.
past.
No, that's what Chris would do, not what John would do.
Okay. And yeah, you would have a container, so you get as much of it as you can off.
And the rest of it I wipe off on my pants.
Okay, perfect. All right. And give me a spot hidden while you're doing this.
Oh, my
Oh.
second 100 of the night.
Oh, God damn it. No.
That's so good. Like I said, the one saving grace is it's in the past.
Right? Yeah.
Well, a character that hasn't been introduced yet, so he can die.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
Time after time. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's the hard part. It's in the past. Okay.
Don't let that stop you.
Don't be so
You're
greedy
horrible,
for this,
Rick.
Rick.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So as oh this is good. You ready? Okay. So as you're wiping this and looking around, you hear screaming from above, and well, actually, that wouldn't be the right order. The first thing you hear are rocks crumbling and hitting the ground where you descended.
Okay.
And then you very faintly make out, oh no, it's giving out. And there's a huge avalanche from the hole where they lowered you down. And the first thing you hear is rocks crumbling from the ceiling.
I think I know where this is going.
And the next thing you hear are rocks crunching on bones and the screaming of men as they plunge 40 feet
Wow.
and land next to you.
Well,
the upside is there's now a lot of light coming into the space. The downside is it appears that most of the crew who were there to raise you out of the cavern are now screaming in a pile of rocks next to you.
well, I go over there and try to help anyone that seems like do a little triage, see if there's anyone that's liable to make it.
And the first thing you do is you grab an arm, you see an arm sticking out, and you pull it to try and help the guy out, and you just have an arm in your hand.
Yep, having gone through the war again.
Yeah.
It's all in a day's work for me. I throw the arm away, go looking for someone else.
As you do it, you're really cognizant of this like sucking sound as your boots land in the goop and they sink in, and then you really have to work to like kind of pull your leg and those out. And there's some moans in the pile of bricks and bodies, but really it doesn't appear as if anybody's left. That
I'll yell
all
up,
died.
Is anyone up there?
All right, I'll give you a luck roll.
Ooh, geez, that's close. Let me check. No, that was not even close. I have very little luck. This character's not much longer for the game.
So after it appears that everybody who was up top, that whatever happened was so sudden.
Wow.
The entire crew is now on the floor of this dig site.
Oof.
Okay, I'm gonna climb up to the top of the rock pile
Okay.
and just have a sit down. I start sweating, start hyperventilating, close my eyes, try to get myself focused. Obviously the no help is coming, so I have to, I pull myself together and decide I have to try to find a way out by walking around down here.
Okay. And the other upside is that most of the camp fell down into this hole as well. So there's a significant amount of supplies. A lot of it got crushed in the fall. But there is, you're able to kind of dig through. There's no way as you walk around that you can find to climb out. As you spend time exploring down there, you do find the edges of this cavern all around.
Mhm.
And there's two tunnels that lead off either end. One of them at we'll call it the west end, is very wide. Probably if the whole tunnel is 150 feet, or if the whole cavern's 150 feet wide, the cavern itself at that end is about 50 or 60 feet wide, and goes another kind of 50 feet deep. The one at the other end on the eastern side is much smaller. It's probably about 10 to 20 feet wide, and then gets narrower and narrower, and they both end though.
You said one looked like it was going down. Does the other one look like it's going down as well?
They don't go down anywhere. Sorry,
Oh,
they just go out to like the one that's smaller gets narrower and narrower. The other one that's about 50 feet wide and 50 feet deep. It it just kind of ends in its own little room. So,
okay. Well, I go into the bigger one and
okay.
go to the end, and I have to look around, see if I can't give up that easily. I have to look around, see if there's any fissures maybe that I can,
Um,
something that seems to be going upward.
as you take your lantern and go around, you realize you're inside of a head.
Inside of a what now?
That uh, that
Inside of a skull?
yeah,
Oh,
that you're looking at teeth along the wall that you're inside of, and you realize that you're possibly in the midst of like one of the greatest paleontological discoveries of all time.
okay. Then I momentarily brush aside my concern for my own survival and start examining the skull. It provides both a distraction and a fascination.
Okay. And with that, make a let's see, take your roll for occult.
Made it.
Okay. And so
Wait, let me check. I forget occult. I'm pretty sure I have a high occult. Oh fuck, nope.
okay,
I
then
did not make it.
roll a
I-
d6.
I missed it by 10. 4.
All right, add 4 points to your occult score. Because
nice.
as you examine this, the way that this skull exists in the walls, this does not seem like an earthly formation, right?
Ooh.
The way that the things line up, you realize that there's an outer skull and an inner skull that is attached yet again inside of another skull.
Wow, multiple layers. And I get as close as I can and look at it. Is it bone as I would recognize fossilized bone to look?
You can
You know, like little.
Yeah, do your
Not com-
archaeology roll.
Made it.
Okay. It seems again, this is a lantern. You're down deep. There's a lot that's happened, but this seems far older than anything you've ever seen.
Mm.
About that time, you hear yelling.
Okay, I'll make my way out of the tunnel and get close to the, I assume, which a much wider opening now, and go, help, help.
And
I'm down here. Somebody help.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, but it looks like everyone else fell through and died. I'm the only one left.
All right, we're gonna toss a rope down to you. And sure enough, like this, there's a rope that comes down, and you recognize the rope. It must be one that hadn't fallen through with the rest of the camp. It's one of your dig site, and is there anything else you want to do before you tie into it?
No, just tie into it and get the hell out of here.
Okay. And so they raise you up, and as you get to the top,
better not be a rival team.
as you get to the top, you're gutted, because it's a rival archaeological team or paleontology team that you compete with for these fossil hunts, and one of their members must have been spying on your camp and seen them all fall through. You're stuck, right? You're 40 to 50 feet up in the air, and as they pull you up, they're laughing, and they say, did you find anything good down there?
Well, that's rather callous, given that 9 men are lying dead at the bottom of this hole. You fucking soulless vampires.
That's less people to fight off for the find. And one of them rears back to swing at you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I pull out my gun and shoot him.
Oh, wow.
No,
right.
Okay. Whatever.
No.
Because I'm a little guy. I can't fight him.
Okay.
Do you want to? No brawl ability.
All right. Roll to shoot him.
Okay. This character isn't going to survive this backstory. Oh,
that's
Lord.
so funny if you died in your
How is that possible? You can't die in your
I don't know,
backstory.
this took such a weird turn.
I got a regular success. I've got a snub nose 38 revolver.
Okay. You're trying to clear leather, but he really gets the jump on you, and the last thing you feel is your gun slipping out of your hand and falling down to the cavern as you lose consciousness, and the side of your face just hurting.
And as I slip into unconsciousness, I say, I regret nothing.
We'll fast forward from there. You'll wake up on a train hours later, headed out of town, and feeling not only like you got socked in the head, but drugged afterwards.
Oh, okay. So they just threw my ass on a train. Okay. I wait until a conductor comes by and ask him where's this train headed?
And you can tell me. You can tell me where it's headed. Where you would go from there.
Well, I end up living in Denver. So
Okay,
how about we're heading
perfect.
to Denver?
Oh, Colorado. Looks like you had a long night, huh? Tied one on. Had a good time.
Yeah, you could describe it as that, but
I hope the other guy looks worse than you. And he winks and punches your ticket and moves on down the line.
I hope
And
that
I-
conductor comes back. I love him instantly. That voice is one of my favorites you've ever done.
All right. And we'll close out there unless there's is there
nope, I think to myself, Denver is as good a place as any.
Okay.
My career as a paleontologist is over.
Okay.
All my friends are dead. The rival team is clearly going to stumble upon the biggest find of perhaps ever. So I'm out.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So that will we'll close your backstory there. And then who's next? We got Buddy and Eddie.
Fine with me.
All right. Do y'all
Sure.
want to do a quick break before we start with y'all, or do y'all want to jump right in?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a break.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
super close to break time. Why don't we take 5 or 10 minutes?
Let's just
everybody
take
get
5.
a snack and we'll come back and do the Buddy and Eddie show. We are back from break. Michael, take it away.
All right, Buddy, Eddie, we left y'all off at the diner. Is that right? According to Emily.
That sounds right. Mhm.
Okay.
And I
It's
think that's where
nighttime.
we last
I'll take
saw
your word
everybody.
for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, you're not so hungry, and Buddy, you're kind of ravenous.
Well, not anymore. I just had 2 burgers and like a milkshake and a bunch of fries.
And we-
Stolen fries.
And we can time dash forward, or y'all can play it out from there. I guess significant things are occurring in your lives right now. So
And if I remember right, we checked the newspaper and it was like we hadn't missed days. It was just time
It was
in the
the
same
same.
day.
yeah.
Mhm. And nothing was different, right? Nothing on the street was different. Am I remembering this right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Eddie, what do you think happened? Has that happened to you before? That seems kind of weird.
Wait a minute. Are you asking me if it's ever happened before that I go to a diner and I'm not hungry? Because the answer is no.
That wasn't what I'm asking.
Are you asking me has someone ever taken my French fries? Because you're the first. That's because you're my good friend. Last time someone tried to take my fries, I put a fork to their fucking hand. But for you, I'm giving you all the fries in the world because the truth be told, I still don't want to eat them. This has never happened before.
I don't know if that means that you were being nice to me or not. But what I meant was, has time ever moved weird like that for you?
Yeah, there was this one girl I used to know. Oh, you're talking about something else.
Oh,
aren't
don't
you?
tell. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that never happened before. We were only in there an hour. It felt like we were in there an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We weren't in there much longer. I've never lost a whole day before like that. That part of me wants to go find this, wants to go find Lana or whatever her name is, but I don't even know about that. I can't imagine a day like this going any longer.
Well,
What happens if we find her and she's drunk again? We were trying to find her when she wasn't drunk.
well, maybe this time we could find out where she actually went.
Well, if we do it, we're going to have to actually follow her. And that means that I'm going to distract her. And then when she goes away, after she's thrown another table at me or something, you're going to have to follow her close up. You feel like you're up for that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, okay, well, as long as it's not like, I don't want her to get scared and think that I'm chasing her or anything.
No, I'm not saying you follow her so close that she thinks you're trying to get to know her better, but I'm just saying you got to be close enough that you can follow her. And last time she got away from you a little bit while going in the house. This time you might have to follow her in the house if she sneaks in.
Okay. Well, let's go see if she's at the bar first.
That's a good plan. All right, so we'll head on over to the bar.
Okay.
Go find
And-
Lonnie, the bartender, to ask him if he's seen Lana, the magician's helper.
And as you head into the bar, it's packed. It's
Hmm.
I mean, just like there's people everywhere. Has that great kind of smell of stale beer and spilt liquor and sweat. And it's really loud.
So I got to ask Keeper. He's uh Eddie doesn't go into a bar and not wanting his lips a little wet. How's he feeling
Gross.
about that? Yeah, he is.
That's a good question. Make a that's a great question.
I'm full of great questions.
Yeah. And the keeper's mind has broken for a second. What's that stat called? That's like your body's ability to
Ow.
Constitution.
that one. Yeah. Can you make a constitution roll?
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I love how Scott
I
just
wish I could-
stares
I
off
wish-
into
I
space when he
wish-
makes a roll.
Yeah. I know. I wish I could blame it on something, but I
No,
I've
my
got nothing.
computer's janking. I got a 31. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh damn, we
my
missed a good
computer, everything
did.
froze for
How
a
did
second.
we
there.
miss
did.
that? Wow.
That was poorly played by us.
Everything froze. So I got a regular success, one away from a.
Yeah, and you're mentally thirsty. How's that?
Weird.
Aren't we all?
No. What the fuck does that mean?
That's
Mentally.
you're 1920s mentally thirsty, not 2020s mentally thirsty. How's that?
Yeah, I am. So basically, I'm walking in and I'm like, you go into a bar, you get a beer.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. I'm going up to Lonnie, and I'm like, hey, Lonnie, I need a beer so bad you don't even understand.
And I mean, he's like just bustling behind the bar, but he catches you and he waves a finger at you, and pretty soon you got a foamy glass in front of you.
Yeah, what about my buddy over there?
Root beer or a Coke, whatever they got.
And poor Buddy is like standing there like, root beer? And like Lonnie's just moving back and forth so fast, like he's not catching Buddy's order.
Nice. So I got
Buddy
a
is
nice
very
little,
used to that kind of treatment.
Yeah.
I got a little mustache going on here because I'm just pounding that thing, enjoying the froth, and I'm like, this has been a day. And I'm gonna call out when he runs by one time, and I'm gonna sort of call out in my typical loud kind of way, Lonnie, where's Lana? Have you seen her?
And he's tucking a towel kind of in his back through his belt, and he's running around. He's got a glass in his hand, and he just points to the back of the room.
Good man. I'll throw a buck on the counter for him. And say, all right. So I'm going to go up to Buddy and I'll say, Buddy, so I'm going to see what I can do with her. So just stay out of sight, okay?
I think you might want to rephrase that before you go talk to her.
All right. So I'm going to go get up. I'm trying to think about another way to put it that's even worse, but I don't want to get in trouble.
Can you roll a spot hidden? I'm going to extricate us all out of this little moment right here.
Are you serious about a spot hidden?
He stares off into the distance.
Yep, spot hidden.
I'm trying.
Still,
We need like little music to play for Scott's rolls,
I
or
know my computer's janking. It's been janking all day.
we
Yeah,
could
I
play
got it.
Dad Cthulhu jokes. Do we have Dad Cthulhu jokes? we
Yeah,
could
I
play
got
while
my
Scott-
spot hidden.
Oh, that's good. All right, so you see her in the back corner, and
I got
she
an
seems,
extreme, if it matters.
yeah, she seems
Hmm.
to be arguing very intensely with a male counterpart at the table. From what you can tell, she seems to be acting in a way that indicates that she's pretty drunk, or maybe it's the 5 glasses on the table with them as well. He's would have been nicely dressed about 3 hours ago, but his tie is like all pulled to the side, and he's just a mess too.
So do I recognize him, or because I'm still with Buddy, I'll say, Buddy, does that?
I thought
do
I
you
was supposed to be
recognize
staying
that
at the
guy?
bar. You said
What?
You told me to stay out of sight.
But I turned and looked, and you and I were still together when I saw him, right? So we were still together when I saw this. That's the way I interpreted from what Michael said.
Michael?
He just turned to look. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
you were together.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, do you recognize that guy? By any chance, is that the magician?
Let me think. I'm trying to get
'Cause
a
I've
good
never-
look
I don't
at
think
him.
I've seen the
No,
magician.
I've definitely never seen him before.
No?
Actually, you have from the military base.
Oh shit! Well, you were shaking your head.
Oh, he's not the magician. It's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I was just saying he's not the magician, but he's from the military base.
Yeah,
He's-
I've seen him before around the base.
And
Do I remember where?
Yeah, he's he works in the kitchen staff. He's civilian. He's not military. He works in the dining hall.
Okay. Yeah, he's
Okay.
part of the dining hall contracting crew.
Hey, maybe we can change. Maybe he'll piss her off so much she'll storm out of here, and then you and I can follow her together. We can change our plans. We're calling a cadence here. We're going off the cuff. I like it.
Do you mean you're calling an audible?
No, I'm calling it cadence. You got to understand, we do things a little bit different where I'm come from.
Okay. Wow, that sounds weird. I'll just hang out and watch for a few minutes, and I'm still like, kind of.
Yep. Trying to get
Yeah.
that
Not
drink
for
order
nothing,
in.
but
trying
at some
to get that
point-
root beer.
When I see my
and
poor
every time you
friend-
do, somebody slips in front of you, gets
Mhm.
their beer, and heads out.
Yep.
Yep.
when I see my poor friend doing this after the second or third time, I'm gonna sort of slap my dollar on the counter and be like, Lonnie, buddy, could you get my friend here a root beer?
Okay. And Lonnie perks up, grabs you a beer and a root beer, and slides it across the bar to you.
Oh,
Good man,
shit.
good man.
Oh, to him? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I thought you meant to me,
No.
because that's when Buddy would drop it.
Mm.
It's so good. All right, so I'll hand you your root beer.
Buddy rolls
you-
100 to
Thanks,
get his
Eddie.
root beer.
Right, cuts
Give you
his
a slap on
hand.
the back and be like, next time, what you got to do, you got to open your mouth up. You got to just be loud. Just let that gullet flow, man. Let the gullet fucking flow.
I don't know if I have a gullet.
As Eddie is ranting on about the gullet there, you're trying to catch his attention because Lana is storming out the side of the bar.
Okay. So as Eddie's, I'm doing this again.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great. So,
And
like,
if
when you're doing that, I'm drinking the beer and sort of half through drinking my beer, finishing it off. I'm like, I don't hear the fucking gullet. I
So,
don't hear the gullet.
I'll actually like kind of do one of these kind of things to turn you around.
Nice.
Okay. So
Nice.
you're grabbing him by the shoulders and spinning him. Make another Constitution roll, Eddie.
Okay.
Oh boy, I shouldn't be asked. I should just roll for him, right? Like at this point.
I got it.
Right.
It's coming. No, I missed.
Yeah. Are you using a Windows machine there?
No, I'm on my Mac.
Wow.
I'm on my Mac.
This
It's
episode
just for some
sponsored by
reason.
Apple.
Windows 98. All right. You're the natural instinct for both Buddy and Eddie would be to trail Lana, right?
Mhm,
And
yeah.
Buddy, you start moving and you notice that Eddie's planted, like his legs, he's just like not moving. And Eddie, your legs, you're like, you're trying to move, but they're just not going. And it's not long. It's maybe a 5-10 second beat, but
that feels pretty long when Lana's booking out the
Yeah.
door.
So I'm like, not for nothing, but I'm not accepting this shit. Like, right? Unless you're telling me that for something else is going on, I'm doing my best to throw my body. Like I'm pissed at my legs right now.
Okay, can you give me a roll?
An
What
anger roll.
An anger roll.
Eddie, you okay there, Eddie, sir? Eddie?
No, I got it. I can't imagine I made it. I got an 86.
Okay, that's fine. I won't. If you busted big, it was gonna be
Okay.
anyway. And so what you see, buddy, is just like Eddie kind of like twitching his torso back and forth. Um, and then he does this, for about a 5 second beat. We'll call it a 5-6 second beat, and then all of a sudden he lurches his leg as he's like shifting his torso back and forth. He all of a sudden lurches one of his legs forward. It's a very like staccato kind of walk that's super awkward. And you make eye contact with it. But at this time, like Lana's heading out the front door. And I would assume you're both trying to stay on her heels.
Mm-hmm.
I am. And not for nothing, but, as under my breath as I can, I'm saying it's got to be that goddamn rat that crawled up my ass. There's no fucking way this wasn't the rat that crawled up my ass. And I'm just going to I'm sort of storming out, going after Lana, and I'm trying to be quiet, but I'm just like, goddamn, fuck, what the hell, go into that goddamn place and wake up in the middle of the night and it's dead. An hour went by and they got a rat up my ass, like just heading out the door.
You should probably make a sand roll if you're going to equate it with what happened in the theater. And this episode brought
I was like super duper got it.
Okay. All right. And so we'll just move on then as you're kind of mumbling to yourself. And I would like to think that Buddy, you never actually got to sip your root beer.
I was just gonna say that. So I'm guessing that Eddie never passed the root beer to Buddy, and Buddy like sort of reaches for it as Eddie takes off, and Eddie just sets it down on a table on his way out. And then people sort of close in between the table and Buddy.
Then the guy next to you picks up the root beer and pounds it.
Yep.
And then looks at it like, what the fuck is that? And puts it back down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Lana's heading out the door.
All right. So, well, staying as far back is sort of reasonable, but we want to tailor.
Okay. So about the time that you make it out the front door, she's got like a half block lead on you. And
go in the same direction.
Yep. And back towards the theater.
Half block's great. I wouldn't want to follow closer than that anyway. So
okay. And
we do want to match her pace.
Match her pace. And as we're going, I sort of have half an arm on you. And I'm actually sort of as subtly as I can. I'm looking around. I want to see if anyone else is tailing her or tailing us.
So, as she makes across the street, we'll say you're a half a block behind her. She's crossing the street, and from behind the building, a man with a hat on, posturally. Looks very masculine with a hat on, jumps behind her and starts trailing her very quickly. Both of their paces quicken as they cross the street and into the next block. And the walk in front of you becomes much more intense.
Okay.
So pick up the pace to match.
Speeding up, just like Buddy said, we're matching pace, but still staying that far enough back that we can duck if they look backwards by any chance.
Okay. And as this happens, a car comes rushing past y'all and skid stops about 10 feet in front of Lana. It's a black car, and the man with the hat grabs Lana. Y'all watch her scream, and he throws her into the car. There's somebody inside the back of the car,
license plate.
Opens the door. The man throws her in, gets in next to her. You see the door slam, and the car starts to drive off. Make a spot hidden. We'll see if you can make out the license plate.
And Buddy would have started running as soon as as soon as he saw that this was about to happen.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I
yell.
got my spot hidden just barely.
Okay. And so the license plate is is L74FUT.
And is it a federal plate or
It's
is
not
it,
a federal plate. Nope.
Okay.
New
And the
Mexico?
car immediately as they get in, the door slams and the car starts speeding off through town. Buddy, you said you've run after it.
Mhm.
You get close to the car actually, like you're huffing, and you get within 10 feet of it. You feel this moment where like I can catch it, and then it starts to pull away from you.
Okay. Yeah, I would do one of those like in the street, like kind of slowing down the run.
Sure. And as you get that far, you can see Lana clearly through the back windows, and she turns, she looks out the back window, and she's mouthing to you, at least it seems like, help me.
Oh, Buddy's gonna take a shot at the wheel.
All right, roll for that.
Nice.
Yep. That is an extreme success. Sorry, not extreme. Hard success.
Hard success.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, Buddy's military dude, pretty good with a firearm.
Yeah. So the hard success ricochets off the rim of the car. Yeah. Yeah, you were close.
Yeah.
It ricochets off the rim of the car, and the car keeps driving.
Okay. Fuck.
Nice. So I'll as soon as I get the license plate, I'm gonna come running up behind. So I'll probably have seen you taking the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting up there, and I'm sort of gonna be like, I'm coming up. I don't like. I've got the experience to know that I don't want a guy with a gun not knowing I'm coming up right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I come up on you, and I'm like, you just took a shot. That was fucking beautiful. And I'm like clapping you on the back, and I'm like, that was the best thing you've ever done. That was amazing. Did you get him?
Sir, she said, she looked at me and I could see she said, she's a help me. We gotta help her, Eddie.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. I think we do. I think we gotta. So, well, you were playing the hero, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I wrote down the license plate number. I think it's time to run the license plate number and see what we can learn. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so about 3 blocks up, as y'all are discussing this, the car sideswipes a street light, and then veers. It overcorrects left into the road. An oncoming car kind of swerves and honks,
Shit.
and then it corrects back into the lane. And as you catch a glimpse in the street light, it looks like that you've damaged the back wheel. The car's still moving, but the cars had to slow down significantly in order to keep going.
Running.
All right. So 2 things. What kind of car was it?
It's a let's see. We'll get appropriate here to the era.
A Buick LeSabre?
I like that. How about a Roadmaster? Looks like cars of the 1940s. We can get a Buick Roadmaster as a black Buick Roadmaster.
Nice.
Yeah, so if it looks like they're slowing down significantly, Buddy's going to take off running again.
Sure,
Okay.
and I'll go with you.
All right. So you're not gaining ground on the car, but you're not losing ground on it either as you're running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
And not for nothing, but as we're going, I'm looking around for police.
For what?
So
Who?
Police
Huh?
officers.
The what?
The police officer.
The
Scott,
fuzz.
you're playing Call of Cthulhu. The only time the police show up, it's bad for you, not good for you.
It's fair. It's fair.
All right. They're taking you into custody, buddy. All right. So y'all track them. You're with them, and y'all would both Eddie, your shape might be questionable, but Buddy, I would imagine, would be in pretty good shape. You're following Eddie.
I think I'm in pretty. No, he stays in pretty good shape. Is Pow?
Yeah. No, Pal's the.
Oh,
this
is it?
Guy? It's your big brain.
Dexterity?
Yeah. Well, no, your con. It would be your con.
Okay. My con's 60.
It's like a slightly above average. Okay.
Yeah, I sort of went for that. It's got pretty good dex.
Yeah, but you got something else going on. I'll let you stay up with old Buddy in spite of that. That 100's paying off.
Is that gonna literally destroy this character?
No comment.
I'm rolling you, fucking character. You're the worst.
It's okay. We'll keep him alive for a while. He's fun.
You can't cancel the Buddy and Eddie show this soon.
No kidding.
Yeah, he reminds me kind of a Lynchian character. I kind of think of Eddie as that strange figure in a Lynch film that we're strangely attracted to, even though he seems to act out in mysterious ways. It's okay. Rick's down there, like he's too young to know what a David Lynch movie is. He's like,
no, I was thinking Eddie is like the small guy that talks back, in backwards, like going in the dream, right? In the dream sequence. That's what I envisioned Eddie as. Can we kill him off? That's just what I'm trying to get at.
If you do, I'm coming back as a Texan with a worse accent than yours.
That would be a feat. If you can do that, that would be amazing.
I am from Texas.
And the twist
That's
is
actually still better. It's still better.
Yeah.
The twist is that Buddy is actually the log this whole time. That's what.
The only thing that helps Rick out is that he can Google really fast.
He's able to
Google so fast that he's like, I'm pretty sure there's AI inside of Rick. All right. So anyway,
so we're running down the street.
Yeah, y'all are running down the street. You're able to keep up with her. It's a long run. You actually get outside of town. You've been keeping pace with her. Let's see how far you go. Holy crap. It's a full you couldn't say for sure, but you've had to keep pace with this car for about 4 to 6 miles.
Okay.
You're getting far enough out that there's fewer and fewer buildings. And you're starting to lose your stamina, to be honest. At that point. And
how far away is the car from us? You said we're keeping pace, but how far in front of us is it?
You're keeping pace in the sense that you keep it in sight, but at this point, it's probably a good 400 to 500 yards away from you, right? It's a good quarter mile in front of you.
It's not a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think if
there's no shot there.
In terms of how long we would stay, after like a mile, if it looks like we're not gaining anymore and they're not having trouble driving.
Yeah. They are though, and that's why I say, like,
okay.
That's why I kept you in it this long, is because I feel like for Buddy, right? He's beat, but you're not out of view of it, and in fact, you see the brake lights go on.
Okay.
And you see it pull over at a gas station, ahead of you.
Okay.
And
wow.
You've got a good quarter. And I think probably this is the moment where we're gonna stop you for a second. Unless
no, we're just gonna keep Buddy's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll just keep going, and when we get close enough, do something.
But that's what I'm saying. We'll pick up with this next week if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Grand finale. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go, Rick.
Okay. So we'll go to Sam. Sam.
Yes.
You this is and for our audience, I just want to make you aware this is a little bit of a time dash, because currently in real time Sam and
Joe,
help me. Thank you. Sam and Joe are in Joe's childhood home.
She's gone for one episode.
Who?
Damn.
Is there somebody missing?
Not cool.
Is there somebody missing?
Yeah, can somebody recap who it was?
All right. So in real time, Sam is in Joe's childhood home, but we're gonna, since she can't be here tonight, we're gonna time dash back a little bit to Sam. You're you all of a sudden you hear this loud sound in a dream. You're in this dream and somebody's knocking at the door. And God, they won't stop knocking at the door, and it's dark and you can't find the door. And you start screaming, just fucking shut up. Just shut up. Oh, sorry. You say, would y'all just fucking shut up? God damn it. Just stop your goddamn yammering. And it's making your head hurt so bad. Sorry, I know I did your accent better than you do.
Way better.
And so you come to, and there's somebody knocking on your truck window. They're banging on your truck window, and you look out and you're waking up. Your hands are on the steering wheel. They're crusty and crumbly. There's an irony smell in the air, and you're looking at the window, and you see a police officer rapping on your window.
I hear you. I hear you. You need to stop. I just get that light out of my face. God damn it. And
roll down your window, sir.
Quiet now. You're gonna wake up the whole neighborhood. And I'll go ahead and I'll start rolling down the window and just take a look. What time of day does it look like?
It's nighttime.
Oh, it's night. So what are the only lights? The lights are just from, presumably they have a flashlight, and then is my car on? Do you have headlights on?
Yeah, your headlights on, the engine's running, and your gas. You take a quick glance, and your gas gauge is getting on the lower side of things, and your hands, they're dark. They're like very crusty, and you kind of, that iron smell. You've been ranching long enough. You're covered in blood.
Yeah, that's very apparent. And while I'm looking down, do I catch the time on the dash?
Oh yeah, the digital clock. Yeah,
on the 1940s dashboard.
yeah, your digital Ford F-250 right there.
On my watch.
Just hit the touch screen. And bring it back.
You could
wake it up.
You could just ask. Why don't you ask Siri?
Yeah.
She'll tell you what time it is.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is your name Siri, officers?
Excuse me, sir. I need you to roll down this window.
Yeah, I'm finished rolling it down. So, what do you need?
What are you doing, sir? Are you okay?
I don't. Yeah. I'm.
Are you wounded?
I'll just take a look down in front of my overalls, and do I have blood? I mean, do I see blood at this point?
No, nothing fresh, but yeah, your overalls are pretty dark.
And and does anything just jump out as painful right now?
No.
No. I said no. I don't think I'm wounded, sir. Why do you ask?
You've been parked here for an awful long time. Can you step out of the car, sir?
I suppose. Am I under arrest for any reason, or
could you step out of the car, sir?
Yeah, I can step out of the car. What's your name there, officer? And I'll start to mosey my way out.
He says.
I didn't hear that. Your officer?
I'm officer. Step out of the car, sir.
All right, I'll hop on out. I see I'm not the friendly type. Fair enough. And I'll hop on out. And I say, what can I do you for?
And he pulls out his gun at this point, and he steps back, and he says, Sir, do you realize that you are covered in blood?
I suppose well, look at that. I gotta be honest with you. I don't remember. What time is it, officer?
It's time most people's bedtimes. It's closing in on the 1 in the morning.
My lord. And when would I have left? I suppose when would I recall getting into the car? Or do I recall getting into the car?
Make a POW roll.
It's a 87.
Yeah, you don't fucking recall jack shit.
All right. Okay.
Sir, have you been out partying this evening?
No, officer. I do not imbibe and drive.
Make a luck roll.
Okay. It's a 93.
Doing great. Doing great.
Well, at least it wasn't 100, right?
Yep.
Right, Chris? Sir, I'm gonna need you to examine the back of your truck.
Sure. What for there, officer?
You stay right where you are, all right? And he kind of levels his gun at you, and you hear the thud as your tailgate drops.
Is he pointing the gun still at me? I mean, where is he? Is he now behind the car? I imagine I'm at the driver's side, and he's at the back of the car. Is that right?
Yeah. God damn it. You piece of shit, squirrely motherfucker. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
What? Why would you say such a thing there, officer?
Oh, don't you just shut your mouth. God damn it.
And I'll try and turn and
swear.
Cock my head and look into the back of the truck.
All right, make a spot hidden.
Oh, 79. Nope, don't make that.
And so you can't quite see what he's saying or referencing, and he goes, I wish I could arrest your pansy ass motherfucker for this stuff. God damn it. If you're going to kill something, shoot it with a fucking gun like the rest of us.
Well, I found it like that, officer.
Oh, shut your fucking mouth. God damn. You get your ass back in that truck.
No, it was a friend of mine. Had it.
That's a friend of yours in the back of this truck?
No,
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No. A friend of mine had me pick this up to get rid of. So let me and I'll take a step or two in that direction. Just sort of
for the audience. Rick just doesn't know when to shut up.
Scratching the back of my head.
I think they've learned that by now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, improving when you just have no idea what's in
there. You could be off scot-free, but no, you gotta pull out that shovel out of your backpack and fucking dig that hole deeper, right? Yeah. That's Rick. Rick, dig a hole deeper, whatever his last name is. All right, whatever.
Wagoneer.
So as I'm doing that, I'm saying, "Oh my Lord!" And look at me. Oh, this is just drying off. And I'll start to just, I'll take my overall and my shirt just to try and take that off.
And so he looks at you and he goes, "You disgust me. Do you actually eat this shit?
Morning, noon, and night."
Oh. God damn. You get out of here, and I don't ever want to see you within these city limits again. You're disgusting.
Oh my Lord. Well, you just gotta A week's time. This will put this will make a man out of you, there, officer. If you want any, you can take as much as you like.
And he looks at you and he says, "And the next time you want to lie to somebody, don't choose an officer of the law, because all the crap on the front of this truck says you're the one that hit this poor damn animal."
You got me there. I just was too embarrassed. Just jumped right out, and that's what happened. But I'll be on my way, officer. I think it must knock me just darn unconscious.
Serves you damn straight.
Yep.
And he starts walking back to his car. He gets back in, little swirly lights on the top, right? Boop, boop, boop.
And the side of the car, is there a city of, or what?
Yeah. And I think you're born and raised New Mexico, right?
No. My birthplace was Houston, Texas, remember? That's how I have this.
God, how could I forget that accent? I mean,
absolutely.
That just screams Houston.
Yeah. But I think it probably makes most sense. We'll just call it City of Albuquerque.
Okay. City of Albuquerque. Yeah. And I'll go back to the back of the truck to put the bed up. It didn't sound like he actually did that, and see what's actually back there. Is it another one of the cows?
It's disgusting. It's just a pile of liquefied intestines, and there's no fur anywhere in sight. It's just kind of a glom of guts in the back of your truck.
Huh.
Morning, noon, and night.
Morning, noon, and night.
And on that note, let's switch over to Sister B, because we haven't heard from Sister B yet tonight, and I miss Sister B.
Oh, that was great.
Last I remember, Sister B was leaving the house and with her big old suitcase and heading down the road.
Yeah.
I suppose she would have gone to a local charity, a religious charity, and she wanted to volunteer there and blend in and volunteer with a local charity, like a soup kitchen, and start serving.
Sure.
So Sister B would be doing that.
Okay, and tell me a nun that you befriended. Let's say we'll call it the Sisters of Charity. It's a Catholic charity that helps with assisting people
with charity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it's charity. They're sisters. It's a charity house. They
Sister
do
B's
the charities.
not quite Catholic, but because that's why she went there to volunteer.
But Sister B could pass as Catholic if she wanted to.
Exactly. So that's what she's doing, and she goes there and she befriends Sister Natalia. Sister Natalia is one of the sisters. She is from Europe too. She's more from Poland.
Okay.
And, she ended up there.
All right, and as you're working with Sister Natalia, one of the residents, and that's what y'all refer to the people who stay in the charity center, who are looking for work or trying to find home. You refer to them as your residents,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the residents is John, and along with Sister Natalia. Sister B, you've taken quite an interest in John, because though he's close to the vest in what he pretends, he alludes to some interesting stories that he's been out and about, and where he's been, and some of the things he alludes to catch your attention.
Except no one knows me as John. They would have in the past.
Yes.
Everyone knows me as Pappy.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Well, Pappy.
Let me correct then. Pappy, one of your residents, is who you've kind of taken an interest in because of some of the stories he's told. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves to talk to each other.
So just a quick question: what story was the hook?
Pappy, what would be something that you would be willing to share as you kind of fish out people that would have hooked in Sister B?
And
I can give you a minute. I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I have a lot of stories to tell about travels throughout the country. And perhaps some of the stories lean towards the darker side of things. I have kind of a fascination with the morbid. So, you know those little news clippings I post on Discord?
Yeah.
You know, about, you know, local murders and stuff like that. I have kind of I carry around newspaper clippings for things that are particularly strange that happen in different areas. And if I, you know, if someone seems like they are down for it, I'll regale them with some of the juicier tidbits.
All right. Actually, that would be an interest to the Sister B, because she would have some questions about those tidbits, maybe something you might know. Okay, got it. All right. And so I guess one night, you know, it would be perhaps after the serving a delicious soup and homemade bread. You know, Sister B, she knows some recipes and makes a good hearty bread to fill the stomachs of the residents. And then she sees Mr. Pappy come by, and she says Mr. Pappy because she's from and she doesn't want to call anyone by first name Pappy. And she says, Mr. Pappy, I hope the bread was filled you up tonight. And I don't know if you're sitting down, she would come over to you, and then she's always gracious. And then if there was a seat, she would ask you.
Oh, well, as soon as you come over, I would stand up out of politeness. Thank you, Sister Ma'am. Yeah, it was it was delicious.
Oh yes, I had some of the bread too. It's quite good tonight, I think. And dipping in this very good soup is so wonderful. I hope you are feeling a little more sustenance to you and a little fuller and better about everything about you. And then so
I was lucky to find this place. I've been a long time on the road.
Oh,
I can't tell you how fortunate I feel.
And I said, oh, and it seems like a night where it's good to sit together with someone. I don't have anyone to talk to, Mr. Pappy. I'd love to sit down with you if that is okay.
Oh, please do, by all means.
Okay, so she'll pull up a chair and then she'll, brush off. She has an apron on, brushes it off, makes herself nice and tidy, and sits down, and then looks at you and says, "Oh, Mr. Pappy, please sit down." And she says, "I'd love to have after dinner conversation until I have to help with dishes." She says, "Oh, I have some questions from stories you tell. You have these little snippets and tidbits of sometimes terrible things that happen in the country that you've seen." And so Sister B kind of looks around and she says, "I've always been suspicious sometimes that, maybe these terrible stories aren't all what they're made up to be. Like, perhaps these stories say one thing, but maybe the people involved, something else has happened to them, like something terrible, but the people, maybe they made the terrible things seem to happen, but they are still alive and they are hiding. Does anything like that ever happen? Have you heard a story like that?"
No, ma'am. I just collect newspaper clippings and travel around, and I'm just fascinated by the darkness of human beings. I find it both unsettling and compelling.
Oh, but we must always see that there is a light side, a wonderful side, a magical side that is full of compassion and kindness in people too, perhaps.
I don't let myself get overwhelmed by the darkness. It's just I'm a fairly footloose and fancy-free traveler about the world, but it's sometimes shocking that people can behave that way. I don't know what to attribute it to.
Oh, I was going to say, Mr. Pappy, perhaps you have been in one of these dark places and people have done something terrible around you. Maybe you have seen that and that's what draws you in, but maybe it is too much to handle sometimes.
No, ma'am. The darkest place I ever been was the trenches during the Great War. Really? Nothing could rival that for darkness. I mean, the things that I saw there are much darker than a wife chopping her husband up with a hatchet and feeding him to the pigs. I mean, that's dark, but that was darkness. The whole world had gone insane, it seemed.
Oh, even the place I come from, yes. We had on that side of the family. It's I'm too young for it, but there was the people in the family, uncles and older uncles who fought in the Great War on Russian army, which was a terrible story. Many of them never came back and froze to death in places. And oh yes, I know some of those stories. It is not a good thing to have to carry around all the time. And so she says, well, I was going to say, she says, Mr. Pappy, what are your plans, perhaps to leave or move on, or do you have any things you want to do or are looking for?
Oh well, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for a friend. A friend of mine was last I heard he was here, and I was supposed to meet him down here, but I haven't heard from him in a while.
Interesting. This friend of yours, huh? And he's not shown up yet. That's too bad. Well, hopefully he will come soon. I have.
No, he was definitely here.
Oh,
I knew he was here, but and then I come looking for him. I can't find him.
Oh, describe this person. What does he look like?
Well, I'll give you his name first. His name is Boone.
That'd be logical.
Yeah, fella named Boone, like me. He would on first appearance seem like he's a bit down on his luck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he says, I don't know the Boone. I've been here just a short time. Perhaps he came through at one time earlier before I started volunteering with all these wonderful people. And then Sister B kind of looks at you more directly, and she says, "That's a very interesting. I want to ask you another question. I have something in my world. Sometimes these things happen that you cannot explain. Like what I was alluding to is sometimes people, terrible things happen to them, but something else really happens, or something extra strange happens that is unexplainable." And she looks at you directly and says, "Unexplainable in a very odd way, and that is, even beyond the religious world, and perhaps what is around us that makes sense. Has anything like that ever happened in your world? Something that, I don't know, you just can't explain with some of the logic that is around you?"
You mean miracles? I'm not a religious man, sister ma'am.
Well, miracles, but even perhaps on the other side of that, something very dark that you cannot explain that was terrible, but it didn't make sense. It wasn't just the terribleness of people. It was something that happened, I hate to talk about these things, but something that is beyond the natural. It makes me very uneasy. Some people use the word supernatural, or even the darker words occult. Some things like that. I have sensed these things in the world, but I sense you to maybe a man that knows about these things with these dark stories that you learn.
Yeah, I lean forward and go, "Okay, sister, let's talk plainly here. What are we talking about?"
Well, I have lost someone in my family, but I think there was something very curious in the world, something twisted, and I don't think he's actually dead. And
are you alone, or?
Oh, me?
Are there others in your order?
Oh no, I am here on my own very much. I have had to leave my country of birth, and the people there are. And she looks, and she's quiet, and she looks at you, and the people from my country are trying to make me do things I don't want to do, and trying to find me. And I am looking and finding some things that just don't seem like they should be happening.
In other words, you just have a casual interest in the occult, say.
Well, I am here finding out some information about a dear brother of mine, and I hear terrible stories on how he met his end, and it is an end that is was terrible. It was not a natural way of dying, and there is people involved in it that were, I think, just beyond regular people.
Well, my friend Boone was here for similar reasons. He was here in order to surveil the area and report back, and he stopped reporting back. That's why I've come down to find him. And then someone else walks by, and I go, "Get out of the way for old Dan Tucker! Get out of the way for old Dan Tucker! Get out of the way for old Dan Tucker! He's too late to eat his supper."
And she says, and she says, and she also goes, that is one of my favorite songs, Mr. Pappy. I love when you sing that. And then she turns back very seriously. She's like,
no, actually it'd be, "Get out of the way. Old Phil Donner was a crazy man. Killed his wife, cooked his wife in a frying pan. Killed his daughter with a teddy bear. Died with butter in his hair. Get out of the way for old Phil Donner. Get out of the way for old Phil Donner. Get out of the way for old Phil Donner.
He's got a bad accent.
He ate Yockers, pet iguana." That's my favorite. That's a classic. That's a classic folk song. One of my favorites.
"Oh, Mr. Pepper, you always make me laugh so hard. You're a wonderful person." He says, but and then she says, then she just turns dead serious, looking at. She says, "But Mr. Peppy, I too am looking for someone. I think maybe our stories are intertwined somehow. His name was Richard, and he came to a terrible end, and he was my brother, and I need to find out more. I'm not completely sure he is gone. The stories about him don't make sense."
And I say Richard, and I tell her the last name.
Yeah, and then she
Perfect.
Talk about Richard.
And then we'll cut right there.
Wow. I guess I should be prepared then. That is where we are going to leave it tonight. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, you can find us online at underthelibrary.com, and please check out the support page on Under the Library. You can find us on Twitter. I am on Twitter at Tall and Nerdy. Michael is on Twitter at Under the Library. And for me, for Michael, for Wayne, for Scott, Rick, Chris, and even for Emily, who will be back next episode. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.